Good morning, everybody. My name is Soul Bouquet. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Today is Wednesday, the 20th of March, 2024. I have with me today a wonderful, wonderful peppermint rice latte. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, goodness me. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like the weirdest combination, but it's actually really tasty. A little bit of peppermint syrup, a little bit of rice milk with just any traditional coffee. I'm using K-Cup coffee today, just over the counter. And it's really good. It's quite tasty. It's got a nice little zing to it, and it's doing the job for sure. I just want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to thank you for being here and for waking up with all of us today. Let's hit the morning hard. Let's make this day good. Hump day. I know that we're halfway through the week. Oftentimes we have to cheer ourselves up just a little bit to get through days like this and to make sure we get to the end of the week, but it is going to be worth it, and you are doing a great job. This episode is sponsored by the like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, click the notification bell if you want to stay up to date with all the content that we're making on this channel. If you don't want to miss out on any future content, that's the best way to get notified whenever I upload. Huge shout out to our executive producers as well as our sponsors. Executive producers can be found in the Patreon. If you want to become a executive producer and support the show directly, please check out the Patreon in the description of the video. And if you want to sponsor this video, please email me at contactgoodmorningeverybody@gmail.com. We can start a conversation and take a look at what that would look like. That being said, we are going to move on to the rest of today's episode. I want to talk a little bit today. I want to change things up a bit. I'm beginning to get an idea and a more of a feeling of what I want this show to be, and sort of hone in on sort of the voice of this show. And with that, in mind, I want to start every morning now by kind of leading with something that I'm thankful for. Now, that may sound kind of childish, or that may be like, okay, come on, I don't have time for that. I'm here to watch a morning show, get some news, get some weather, and then I'm going to be on my way. But hear me out. I think that taking even just like a minute to express something, even if it's something really small, something that you take for granted, a minor thing in your life, even if you just take like a minute to recognize out loud verbally or with someone that you're thankful for that thing, I do think it actually starts you off on a better foot, because I've been recently doing that, where I wake up and I just like go through a list of things that I'm blessed to have in my life, or that I'm thankful to have in my life. And it's really sort of spun my attitude immediately, and I'll conquer everything in my life, or any fires that come up throughout the day, with a little bit more grace, because I know that sort of in the back of my head that there are really good things in my life that I'm like super lucky to have. And so today I'm thankful for my wife. I came home yesterday after a long day of work, and I found that she had left little mini love notes throughout our apartment. And it was a little bit of a scavenger hunt. She left them in places where I would normally like do work, like at my desk, or like on my dresser, or by the Keurig machine, because that's where I make all my coffee. And she just like left this little surprise for me to discover just organically when I got home. And, I love her to death. And so I'm thankful for my wife today. That took a really long day and ended it on such a high note. I'm incredibly blessed to have her, and that made me incredibly happy. So I'm thankful for my wife today. And if you want to drop in the comments what you're thankful for today, please do so. We can share some love, some positivity. I think that's really, really needed, especially in today's day and age, So that's who I'm thankful for today. I love you, baby. Moving on, we're going to move on to today's moment in history. Today in history, 1916 was the first U.S. air combat mission, which is crazy to think about because that was only like 100 years ago. 8 Curtiss Jenny planes of the 1st Aero Squadron take off from Columbus, New Mexico, in the first combat air mission in the U.S. history. The 1st Aero Squadron, organized in 1914 after the outbreak of World War I, was on a support mission for the 7,000 U.S. troops who invaded Mexico to capture Mexican revolutionary Pancho Villa. So, again, 1916 was the first coordinated air mission, which is insane to think about. That may seem like a long time ago, but that's kind of like a brief span in the history of humanity that we've only really had coordinated air technology for that long. Anyway, crazy to think about. 1916, first U.S. air combat mission. Today's moment in history. We are going to move on to some news of the day. We're only going to cover a couple topics today, so I just want to get through them pretty quick. But here is what I found today. Let me just get rid of that. AI content has become a problem for YouTube. With the dawn of artificially generated content and the content finding its way into all manner of social media, it's no surprise that we're beginning to see certain platforms crack down on it. We see here that YouTube is going to be implementing a label for videos that do contain certain types of AI generated content. Now that's coming after a conference that happened in November where YouTube began to kind of detail its AI generated content policies. Again, this is a very new and sort of on the edge sort of technology that people are still trying to figure out how to deal with. And this is in response to especially, people that may be using, AI voices and deep faked music to like make people like Drake sing a different song or change up the lyrics. Now, granted, we see that all over the place in social media, but YouTube is sort of beginning to crack down on that and change their policies when it comes to that. Now, it is depending on the type of content. So obviously, like, when it comes to music and when it comes to deep faked artists, their labels have pretty intensive tools on the back end to be able to, take that down, especially if it is harmful to the artist's brand. But then we're moving into other things where, it will actually give all creators sort of access to be able to sort of self-report whether or not there is AI generated content in their videos. So it says here on Monday, the platform explained that it'll be asking users to answer yes or no to whether or not their video contains altered content. And of course, the platform, the definition of what that means, because it is a pretty broad topic, kind of varies. They're trying to be as specific as they can, but again, where do the lines fall? So the platform will ask if any of the following describes their content: makes a real person appear to say or do something they didn't say or do, or if it alters footage of a real place or event, generates a realistic looking scene that didn't actually occur. If anyone answers yes, there will be a label that will show up on their YouTube video saying that this video contains altered content. Now, this is what it's going to look like. Right there, you see altered or synthetic content. This is going to be rolled out first to the mobile app, and then it'll be rolled out to desktop YouTube, and then it'll be rolled out to YouTube TV. So we are going to see that kind of roll out sort of progressively as we go along here today. This does mean that, we are drawing a line in the sand as to what is, flaggable AI content. See, it says here that YouTube is not requiring creators to disclose a content that is clearly unrealistic, animated, or includes special effects, or that has used generative AI for production assistance. Like if you're using that to sort of script certain parts or the entirety of your video, they're not going to ask you to self-report that as AI generated content because it's just, helping with production. You're scripting your video using AI. Or if it's using, automatic captions, so on and so forth. So that's anything that is helping with production or that is like generative, if that makes sense, where it is clearly fake or animated or unrealistic or is helping on the back end. That is not necessarily something that YouTube is looking for. It's mainly if they're taking a real person and making them say something that they didn't say, or taking a real scene and changing it so that it looks like something else happened there. Now, of course, this does mean that these labels are going to be self-imposed. So these creators are going to need to self-report. So if you have a content creator that is using pretty heavy-handed AI-generated content, and they're just like, I don't want to report that I'm using AI-generated content, they'll just click no, and then the video won't be flagged. Granted, YouTube is working on technology that will allow them to, especially for topics like health, news, election, finance, anything that is like, super pertinent when it comes to potentially spreading misinformation, they are going to automatically put the label on that video, sort of on the back end. But again, now we're getting into sort of something more dicey, which is that when does YouTube make that call and what actually constitutes as AI generated content? Granted, from the get, the ability for YouTube to even be able to automatically do that using software is a little bit dubious, because OpenAI fully admitted that their classifier for whether or not something is AI generated versus, made by a human, that it would oftentimes spit out false positives. So AI being used to identify whether or not something is AI is kind of hit or miss right now. There's not really a whole lot of great technology out there. And so YouTube would need to rely heavily on either like double checking flags using real people, like having someone sit down and be like, okay, is this AI generated? And then like unchecking something if it was mistakenly identified as AI, or rechecking something if it was not identified as AI and it needs to be checked and flagged as AI. Having said that, though, we are going to be seeing that roll out. YouTube's announcement said that the feature would be available this week, but people haven't really seen it yet. Even as someone who is creating content using the mobile app and using desktop, I haven't seen that option yet. I haven't seen that checkbox available yet. We're going to see what that looks like as we move forward. But as soon as it starts rolling out, I think we'll get a pretty quick idea for where the problems fall, where the strengths are, if there are any, and how that's going to affect content on the whole, whether or not we're going to see maybe like a lack of algorithm pushing if a piece of content has like that flag on it. Maybe it's going to affect the way that people view it or see it organically in the homepage. I don't really know at this point. It's a developing story. We're going to see how it rolls out. We're going to see what it actually does to videos and sort of the current ecosystem of YouTube. But having said all that, all of these articles, all of these resources are going to be available in the description below. Please feel free to take a look at them, form your own conclusions. If I missed anything, or if you feel like there's a bigger part of this conversation that needs to be talked about further, please drop that in the comments below. I love starting conversations. I love starting dialogues. I'd love to hear your opinion. We are going to be moving on to some more good news. I found this story that I am just absolutely thrilled at, and I'm really excited to talk about it. So, a group of Providence college students gave their security card the greatest gift that they could give. Last week, a video was dropped captured by one of the students showing the group surprising James Mogaji with a secret that had been in the works for a while.
And you told us a while ago that you wanted to see your family in Nigeria, that you haven't seen in a long time. So we came together, we started a GoFundMe for you, part of the family. So our gift to you is a trip to Nigeria. So
James overwhelmed. His trip to Nigeria now paid for.
So that is just a little bit of a snippet from a news broadcast covering the footage. I couldn't find the raw footage anywhere, so I apologize for using that. But I love this story. They were able to give this man the gift of being able to see his family again. Apparently, they had been working on raising funds for some time and even started a GoFundMe to garner further traction, all in an effort to repay the kindness that James has shown them every single day. One of the students on an interview was quoted to have said that James just brought a kindness and a great energy to his job in all of his conversations every single day. And so in order to sort of pay that forward for all the work that he gave and put into his job and everyone around him, they were able to give this man the gift of being able to see his family again, the greatest gift they could give. So wonderful story. I really hope that uplifts you today on Wednesday, the middle of the week. We are going to move on to the artist highlight for the day. I want to talk about an artist that was suggested to cover, and I'm very excited to cover. His name is Steve Wallace, and he is he goes by the way, Camping with Steve on YouTube, at Camping with Steve, and he is really an incredible creator. He's a pretty big creator actually too. He's got 1.5 million subscribers, so he's doing very well for himself. But I found him recently because it was suggested by someone that I know to take a look at him, and he is a urban camper. He does like urban camping and survivalist videos, like outdoors with like very little supplies. I'm just going to play a little bit of a clip for you.
This will give me a little bit of shelter in there. And if you can't tell by now, I am not a real bushcraft guy. I'm just a camper that likes to go out to the city. So I'm just using real cheap equipment that I got from a place here called Canadian Tire, which is kind of like a hardware store. It's got a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to let you watch the rest of the video. It's hilarious. He makes really good quality content. It's just very fascinating to watch, sort of like how someone can urban camp in these places that you probably wouldn't otherwise not want to urban camp. I mean, I wouldn't want to. I'm terrible at camping, but maybe they wouldn't think to camp. And it just kind of shows you his process for being able to sort of camp out in the wild, but also sort of in like more urban environments. It's very interesting. So please go check out Camping with Steve on YouTube, Steve Wallace. He's going to be linked down in the description. He's our artist highlight of the day. Makes really incredible content, very interesting to watch. He has over 300 videos, so there's plenty of content to catch up on. Now we are going to move on to the small creator club of the day. I found a small creator that I've watched a little bit of her stuff, and she's great. She has about almost 600 subs. She's 594 right now. Let's at least get her to 600, if not to 1,000, because I believe she deserves it. She's putting on a lot of hard work, and she's making some really cool quality content. Her name is Clarice Grace. Now she is a beauty clothing haul YouTuber who does more lifestyle videos, but she just has a very uplifting personality. I'm going to play a couple seconds of one of her latest videos.
I'm gonna show you guys all the things that I've got while I went thrift shopping. I feel like people sleep on thrift shopping, especially like Goodwill. There's a store here called Staff. Like I just be going in there to literally like look at like home decor, like vintage home decor. And I got a couple, so I'm gonna share with you guys. The first one that I got is this beautiful piece. When I seen this, y'all, I cried a little because it just reminds me of my daughter, but I'm gonna read it. It says,
so I'm gonna leave it right there. She is a really kind-hearted and very happy and passionate YouTuber. She again makes more like lifestyle-esque videos. She's doing a haul in this video, but if you're into any of that, please give her a like, give her a sub. Again, 594. Here's her channel. It's at Clarice Grace on YouTube. She's the small creator of the day. Let's get her to 1,000. She deserves it. She's been cranking out some content ever since, and she's doing a great job doing it. So thank you, Clarice, for being today's small creator of the day. Thank you so much for that. We are going to move on to the quote of the day, and we're going to sort of close out our episode of the day with a quote, and it's going to be, most people have the will to win, few have the will to prepare to win. I'm going to leave you with that today. I know that that is a tough quote to read on Wednesday, especially being that it's hump day and we're probably feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it today. But again, if you prepare your field for rain, the rain will come. If you get the things in your life ready to have those successes, you will get those successes. So keep working on yourself, keep working hard. With that being said, we are going to read today's affirmation. Be kind to yourself today. Drink plenty of water and get some sunshine if you're able to. And most of all, keep your chin up. I know it's the middle of the week. I know it's hump day, but you're doing a great job. If you're watching this, you're already winning. And if you're a winner, there's nothing you can't do. So whatever your goal is, whatever your dreams are, chase them, run after them, because it's only a matter of time before they become a reality. So with that, that will end today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know today, I think everyone's feeling it. We'll have good days, we'll have bad days, we'll have amazing, awesome, heavy news cycle episodes. We're going to have lighter episodes where we just talk about our feelings, and that's totally fine. Every day is a different day, and every day requires a bit of a different approach. Having said that, though, I hope that you have a phenomenal day. I hope that you finish strong, and we'll see you tomorrow, Thursday. You have a great day. Thank you so much to our sponsors, our executive producers, our patrons of all kinds. If you want to become a patron, please check out patreon.com/good morning everybody. It's going to be linked in the description. It's also right there. Become a patron. You're going to be able to join a great community with some awesome content. Also be able to join the Discord server that's being set up currently. We can start that conversation and become a good community as we grow and sort of share positive vibes together. If you want to become a sponsor of the show, please reach out to contactgoodmorningeverybody@gmail.com. We can start that conversation, take a look at what that would look like. And if you are an artist, a YouTuber, a creator of any kind, please, if you want to see your channel highlighted on this show, reach out to me at goodmorningsubmissions@gmail.com. It's listed right there with your channel, art, just anything you want to have featured. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day and have a good one. Take care. Peace out.